That's what I would have been doing. Those guys right there in the green. See, that's the H3 and that's the CH53. You can look at the difference in color. There's another one way out there.
Which one is it? Oh, these people, okay?
Look at them all. Look at them all over there. Okay, now I'm looking for a fifth helicopter. I don't know what the deal is.
There's another one.
I know, but I'm looking for another one. They said there were going to be 5. There were going to be 4. There we go. Jarheads. That's what I'm talking about.
What do you have?
That one there. That's the one. I don't know. Probably 2. Or that one.
Either one of them. What the hell is going on here?
See, these are probably dignitaries or Secret Service people that travel with the president.
Is this it?
That's his job to have. I don't know. Dignitaries. That's it right those things on the bottom are those little multicolored things? Yeah. Those are electronic countermeasures. Close them out.
Oh my God, this thing is perfect.
He's a lazy bug, huh? Oh, that's a nice helicopter. Holy cow. See that stuff on his hat? That means he's used them to kind of curl.
And the one shoulder tree. Not already?
I'm saying things are going to be a problem.
Do you want to be a pilot or something like that?
Yeah. I don't know about jets.
Ladies and gentlemen, Governor George Major.
California. Michigan Dukakis will be back in Massachusetts. You know, if Michael Dukakis were a beer, he'd be labeled Mondale Light. That's a third less filling, but all the taxes. Let's welcome the great governor of our state, Mr. George. Well, I want to thank all of you for coming today to show your warm...
And now, as President of California State University, Fullerton, it is my pleasure to introduce to you President Ronald Reagan.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Picture of him holding that hammer and
Thank you.
I don't know.
Thank you all very much.
It's a super blow pop, Mom.
You are living proof of something that I have said over and over again. Orange County is where the good Republicans go before they die. But thank you, Dr. Cobb. And thank you for that great music, both here and outdoors. Let me
say a special hello to Governor Duke Majan, Gabe Kaplan, Bob Naylor, Congressman Bill Dannemeyer and Bob Dornan, and to two future congressmen who have already given invaluable service to their country in helping to make our administration a success. I could always count on Chris Cox to push our agenda forward and to keep his sights on why we were in Washington. And what can I say about Dana Rohrabacher? Well, for 20 years, he was at my side in every campaign. In Washington, every one of my fights was his fight. I've watched him grow from a boy to a man, and I'm proud of him. So please give two great new congressmen to America, Chris Cox and Dana Rohrabacher. And let me also say hello to a group I take a kind of a personal interest in, the College Republican Club. But there's also some others here, I've noticed. You won't mind if I recognize my fratres in Tau Kappa Epsilon because I'm a Teef. Somebody asked why I've come here today. Well, that's easy. I like great teams, and I couldn't think of any greater one than the Titans. Now, before I go any further, I have a special message from my roommate. Please, for your families, for your friends, for your country, and most of all for yourselves, just say no to drugs. You know, I watched a certain debate a couple of weeks ago. I don't often feel sorry for liberals, but I came close. Now, he may have been surprised at George Bush's strength, but you know something? I wasn't. I've worked more closely with George Bush these two terms than with any other member of the administration. I have seen him keep a cool head in hot crises. I've seen his leadership and vision. I've given him some of the most sensitive and difficult tasks that we've had, and he's never let me or the country down. When you ask who led the fight to lift excessive regulations off of the shoulders of America's economy, or who reassured our allies about deployment of INF missiles and set the stage for the INF treaty, or who ran the initial policy meetings that led to our rescue of Grenada, or when you ask which candidate for president is on your side and American side, George Bush is that man. George Bush knows the importance of the values expressed in the Pledge of Allegiance. He cares that the courts won't allow children in public schools to open their day with a simple, silent, voluntary prayer. He believes that we must have judges on our courts who interpret the law and don't try to legislate. And who care not just about the rights of criminals, but about those of the victims of crime. That's why I want the next president of the United States to be George Bush. As I listened to George Bush and his opponent debate, I couldn't help thinking the problem with those fellows on the other side is not camera angles or lighting. It's not whether their candidate is likable or not. No, it's the very thing that they've spent this campaign trying desperately to hide. When our liberal friends refuse until the last week of the campaign even to whisper the L word and insist that this election is not about ideology, it's about competence, they're just acknowledging that where they want to take America, America doesn't want to go. The American people always have a way of figuring out the facts. And that reminds me of a story. At my age, everything reminds you of a story. This is a story that happens to be about one of our intelligence agencies in Washington. They had an agent, a spy, who was over in a little town in Ireland, and they had to make contact with him, and they called in another agent and told him that he was to go there and contact this man. The man's name would be Murphy. And he said, your recognition, so that he'll know you are, is that you say, it's a beautiful day today, but it'll be a better one tomorrow. And then he was on his way. Well, he got to this little town, and he figured the best place to start his search was in the pub. So he went into the pub and up to the bar and said to the bartender, where would I find a man named Murphy? And the bartender said, well, if it's Murphy the bootmaker you want, he's on the second floor of the building across the street. And if it's Murphy the farmer you want, he's half a mile down the road, the farm on the left. And he said, my name is Murphy. And the agent said, well, it's a beautiful day today, but it'll be better tomorrow. And the bartender said, oh, it's Murphy the spy you want. Well, you know the facts, and so do the American people. Our liberal friends have spent the last 3 months trying to dress up their agenda in our clothes. And now in Harry Truman's clothes or FDR's clothes. But somehow nothing fits. See, his supporters can't even find the right meeting. Well, now, when I said nothing fits, when they say opportunity, they mean subsidies. When they say reducing the deficit, they mean raising the taxes. And when they say strong defense, they mean cut defense spending. You know, it's no wonder their favorite machine is the snowblower. They talk about it being time for a change. Well, where have they been the last 8 years? We are the change. We began it 8 years ago, and the choice this year is to go forward with the change or to go back to the stagnant status quo of the past. When George Bush and I took office, America was in the worst economic crisis since the Great Depression. high taxes and runaway regulations were driving America's families to their knees, pounding them with a 1-2-3 combination of inflation, economic stagnation, and all right. Okay. Well, now for that other party, and for example of their so-called pro-family agenda, they propose federal child care assistance. A little while ago, I told an audience that under this proposal, if parents want assistance, and they also want to leave their child with his or her grandmother, the grandmother will have to be licensed by the federal government. Now, after I first said that, a reporter called one of the congressional staffers behind that bill and asked if it would teach us to lead classes in the Pledge of Allegiance is unconstitutional, and have voted to strike down, they have voted to strike down a ban on child pornography. Well, I've appointed very different justices to the United States Supreme Court, and so will George Bush. It's just this simple, and who have never let the taxpayers' dollars out on furlough. Okay? Do you want our foreign policy in the hands of those who criticized our rescue mission in Grenada and our strike in Libya, and who always blame America first? You just made my day. Pete Wilson to the United States Senate. And of course, will you vote for George Bush? You just keep on making my day. Almost a quarter century ago, we Californians began a crusade for a stronger...
Going to pick it up. Pine Valley? Testing.
Wow, it's really hard. Man, what a crappy day.
I think we have a request of the media here, if when he comes out, if you could kneel down so they could see, they would appreciate it. They're gonna do that when he comes out. They'll kneel down. They'll be all right.
Yeah, that's the truth. He's got the run.
You said that right there.
Did I?
What was that on film?
Wait, what did he say?
Say it. Explain to the camera what's holding this video.
Okay.
tell you about a new hobby of mine. Reading the truth. I have taken the connecting jokes that I can absolutely establish made up by the Russian people have told among themselves. And it reveals they got quite a sense of humor. Also, we're a little cynical about the system over there. maybe I might tell you, it's kind of personalized. It seems that this joke they made up has an American and a Russian arguing about their two countries. And the American said, look, in my country I can walk into the Oval Office, I can pound the president's desk, and I can say, Mr. President, I don't like the way you're running our country. And the Russian said, I can do that. The American says, you can? He said, yes, I can walk into the Kremlin, into the General Secretary's office, pound his desk and say, Mr. General Secretary, I don't like the way President Reagan's running his country. Please get out there and vote and get all your friends and anyone that you see that thinks they're too busy to get to the polls, get them in there to vote. I'm going to tell you seriously one thing that I think illustrates the difference that I was talking about in my speech about our two approaches to the problems. When I became governor of California, we had quite an economic situation to begin with, but even though the Constitution says you can't have a deficit, California had a deficit under the previous administration. And we went to work to try and work things out and get it all right. And the first time we ever got a surplus, and they said, well now, what do we do with that? And I said, let's give it back to the people. And we did. We told them to amount to about 10% of the income tax, state income tax. And I said, tell the people to only pay 90% of what they owe, and we'll make all the difference to the surplus. Well, about the fourth time we had a surplus, and it was a very large one, and we worked out a system for giving it back. I think this explains the difference between the two philosophies. I said we're giving it back and work it out, and went before the people and told them that this is what we were going to do. And the leader in the California State Senate from the other party stormed into my office and said, Governor, I think giving that money back to the people is an unnecessary expenditure of public funds. And I don't know if the money belongs to the government, not to you. Well, we're going to keep it the way we've got it this way. It's your money and we'll take as little of as we have to get the job done. So thank you all very much. God bless you all.
Are you Secret Service? Are you carrying a gun in the back?